What's up, everyone? Scott the TroutHammer here. Little change of scenery today. Got you out in my back patio. Beautiful day. Figured I'd take advantage of it. And doing a little something different today. So, kind of racking my brain, trying to stay creative, trying to separate myself from other fishing channels because I don't want to do the same thing that other fishermen have been doing on YouTube. I don't want to just copy and paste what other people have done. I want to share my own expertise. I want to share my own knowledge and share my own stories. So I figured I'd start a new installment on the Pex to Pisces fishing channel, and we'll call it Fishing Stories. So I'll just talk about some of my favorite fishing stories I've experienced personally, and things I've learned from those fishing stories, things that I still carry to this day, and we'll just have fun talking about fishing here. So last year was a banner year for me fishing wise. I caught my first and my biggest wild salmon. I caught my biggest bass. I caught my biggest crappie. I caught my biggest trout. I caught the most fish I've ever caught in my life last year, and I really wish I had a camera to document it. Figure it would have been. That's when I had the idea to start a fishing channel. It just took a while to be able to come to the point I am now, recording what I'm doing. But I guess the first fishing story I'll talk about is what's probably my favorite fishing story. And so I grew up fishing and learned how to fish on my grandpa's pond. My grandpa used to have a property on the way to Lebanon here in Oregon, and I grew up learning to fish on this little pond that he had that used to be a segue for the Willamette River. It got closed off and it got locked in, and a lot of the fish that were in the river stayed in that little pond and populated. There were carp, there were catfish, there were bass, bluegill. There was actually one of the neighbors he had that shared part of the property actually put trout in there. Also, I never caught a trout out of there, but when there are times where I'd go fishing there, and my we my brother and we would be either having a good time thinking we're catching a lot of fish and we're topping each other on size of fish caught and everything. And then my grandpa would come down to the dock with just this little pole, little hook, little worm, and just go back and forth in front of the dock and pull out bluegill after bluegill after bluegill. I mean, he'd catch 15 more fish in like half an hour than my brother and I had caught in the entire time we were fishing for like an hour. Is that good of a fisherman and able to take something so simple, just a little hook, little worm, no weight, little tiny pole, and make it an amazing fishing experience. That's something I still carry to this day. But here's the fishing story I want to get to. The point of the story is my grandpa always outfished me. It didn't matter what I was fishing for, where I was fishing, he outfished me. And this couple months ago, we laid my grandfather's ashes in a creek in an area where he grew up. On the drive up to the creek, it was it was like an hour or so drive from Eugene, where my grandpa grew up, and we're looking at the streams that are along the way, and my mom's asking me if there's any fish in there, and I'm looking it up on a map and seeing the McKenzie River goes this way, this creek goes this way, and I was like, there might be fish, I doubt it. And then we got to the area where we were going, and the creek was so small, it was barely even a ripple, just a trickle coming down this hill. And I was like, yeah, there's no fish here. And we go to the spot where my grandfather wanted his ashes put. And one thing we did the summer prior, my wife and I hosted our family reunion, and it was the first family reunion without Grandpa Norm. And we wanted to do something that sort of honored Grandpa's memory. My grandpa was a rock hound, he was a fisherman, patriot, serviceman, minister, and we wanted to do something when we laid his ashes to rest to honor him. And so the idea that my wife and I had was we got some river rocks. We went to Roaring River Pond, a place that he frequented, and picked up river rocks along the way. My parents also got some rocks that we used for this. And at the family reunion, we painted the rocks. We put like high quality stickers on there that weren't going to wash away in water, and some decals on there, different colored markers like glitter paint and whatnot, and just painted on each rock individually what Grandpa Norm meant to us. And we go to the spot where we're going to lay his ashes, and we also put the rocks in the river in the same spot. So we spread Grandpa's ashes in the creek, and we put the rocks in there. My mom makes a comment that Grandpa's playing in the creek again. He's in his happy place. He's happy again. And a fish, a little fish, comes right up to my grandpa's ashes. And I thought that was just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. My grandpa was such a great fisherman that even after he's passed on, he's still out fishing. But I mean, I wish I almost brought the camera when we took his ashes, and I wanted to film it. And when that happened, I was like, oh, that would have been such a great memory to film. But I mean, at this point right now, it's a fishing story. So, Grandpa Norm, still miss you. I know you're always gonna outfish me. Doesn't matter where I go. Doesn't matter what I do. You carried the family pole, and I'm honored that the family pole has passed on to me. I hope I make you proud. I hope I make some great stories. I hope I make some great stories to match the stories you told me. But yeah, that's all I've got for this short little video. Gonna do some more videos in this fishing story, edition that I'm gonna add on to the Pecs and Pisces fishing channel. I got plenty of stories I'm gonna tell, but go ahead and leave any comments below. Fishing stories you guys want to hear from me, like certain species I've caught, like some great failures that I've had plenty of those. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to do a lot more of these, and as always, tips up, tight lines, and have fun fishing.